Phosphor Dot fans. It feels like there's a raid going on in here because we are about to play Lock and Chase on the 2600. I realized, having played the arcade game, we actually hadn't played the 2600 port of this, and it's an interesting game. It bears some resemblance to the arcade game, but it also bears an unfortunate resemblance to Atari 2600 Pac-Man, as if someone at M Network just decided, hey, you know what? People ate that thing up. We only have to make a game that's as good as Atari's Pac-Man. So let's give it a shot. The basics are pretty much the same. You can close doors and get cornered very easily. You also have to try to get or at least you don't have to try to get them, but you can score significant extra points by getting the rectangular prizes at the center of the screen, whatever they may happen to be. In the arcade game, of course, that would be a money bag, and that would be a top hat, but here they're just rectangles. Alright. Well, I made the perhaps inadvisable detour to try to pick up that bonus prize, when of course you just need to hit the exit once you have cleared all the money out of the vault. The graphics and sound are not all that. It's a serviceable game of Lock and Chase, but it's not a great game of Lock and Chase. Now here's the question. Did it need to be? Was Lock and Chase a great game to begin with? Or is it getting exactly the level of respect that it deserves here? I suppose that's an interesting question to ponder. Close one. Oh, very well then. You leave me with no choice but to go after the bonus prize. Well played, gentlemen. Well played. Oh! There's my final score. 13,680 points. Let's give it another go. One more round. See if we can get any more into the lock and chase zone. Strange as it may seem to ponder this, this was actually one of Mattel's biggest arcade licenses. Mattel, of course, banked heavily on licensing professional sports leagues for sports games on the Intellivision. So you had NFL football, NBA bowling, Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, that sort of thing. None of which really affected the gameplay, but it presented the impression that, you know, this is such a superior sports video game that an actual professional athletic league is willing to endorse it, when in fact, it wasn't really an endorsement as much as it was, hey, we paid for the license. All right. Oh. You guys stop following me. It's like having a stalker made of pixels. Hell, I left myself no way out of that one. And I leave myself only one way out of this one. Mattel Electronics did finally secure a kind of overall licensing deal with Data East. That resulted in Lock and Chase and Burger Time on the Intellivision. But of course, since Mattel had M Network going, it also did Lock and Chase for the 2600. We've played the Apple II version, for crying out loud. I mean, they weren't opposed to spreading that license around to anyone who would buy it, and Atari finally took note, and the Atari Soft label was born, bringing Atari games to other platforms, starting mainly with computers, but eventually spreading into other consoles, such as Intellivision, and they planned to make inroads on the ColecoVision as well. Mattel aggressively promoted Lock and Chase and Burger Time as if they were the hot new arcade games, which was a bit of a bluff because all of that marketing had to be prepared ahead of time. They were banking on Burger Time and Lock and Chase becoming bigger than they perhaps were in the actual arcade. And the result was lots of copies of Lock and Chase.